Welcome to our elections Sarovia General Election Leadership Debate. My name is Micaile Permars, and I have served, among other roles, as the Speaker of the House of the Commons and as a Commissioner in the Constabulary. I will be your host and moderator for the debate today. Before we begin, I would like to warn all members present, this debate will not be a softball. We will be asking hard-hitting questions here today. I will ask one question to each candidate, which they have 4 minutes to respond to before I cut them off. I may ask a follow-up question, Koshal Wash Tharlevin. I would ask each caucus leader to give a 3-minute opening statement about who they are and why they're running. Sir John, you may proceed.
Thank you, moderator. What's up, Sarovia? I am, as always, your humble and loyal public servant. If it wasn't obvious by how old I am, and yet I'm still in politics. But I'm here because last term my caucus, the Custovizos, promised 3 things: community, country, victory. We did them all and more, delivering for you, the people. Now it's time to keep the train rolling and keep the show going. So vote Custovizo and let's make this an election to remember. Thank you all. I love you.
Mr. Braganza, your turn.
Good evening, my Sarovian brothers and sisters. I would first like to thank our brave servicemen and volunteers for tonight's victory. I am Enocos Braganza, son of former Prime Minister and military veteran Ioan Braganza. I stand on 3 points: prosperity, patriotism, principles. My opponents have stunted Sarovia's growth for too long, and I implore you, fellow Sarovians, to stand up for your liberty, for your empire. Vote for the Liberellizos.
We will be going to ask some questions about structure and representation. Sir John, I will begin with you. The Custovizos argue for the preservation of traditional Sarovian institutions, such as the Assembly of Peers. In recent months, however, the peers have not introduced any new legislation or debate, cultural contributions, or anything. How do you defend this group, which you are also a member of?
Thank you, moderator. While it may look like the peers have not done anything, the reality is more nuanced. The reason why the Assembly of Peers has not had much to do is not because of inactivity, because inactive peers were removed last term. The reality is gridlock stemming from Liberellizo political trickery. We have a Lord Speaker in Roberto Leon right now who has failed to hold regular meetings to the point where I have had to force him to do it. And we have Liberellizo MPs that hold up laws in committee, preventing them from reaching the peers. With a stronger Custovizo presence in government, however, we can fight this activity. So make sure to vote for us and vote with conviction.
Sir John, did you vote for Robert Leon as the Lord Speaker? And if so, why did you do it if he was inactive?
I can't speak as to why he's inactive, but what I do know is that it's unacceptable. That's why I've had to step in alongside other Custovizo peers to help him do his job, and we deserve better than that.
This is to both of you. To John, you may go first, and Mr. Braganza, you second. What legislation is your #1 priority if elected?
Thank you, moderator. Our #1 goal right now is making sure that our numbers here in our homeland continue to grow. That's why we have been investing in growing crowds at social events and numbers at Army events above all else. Therefore, our top legislative priority will be to find ways to legislate incentives and new ideas to further these goals. Because while Liberellizos will say we must expand outward, we can't do anything without a solid foundation. Homeland first, growl first.
And you, Mr. Braganza.
The Custovizos say growl is above everything, but this is not the case. My first priority is bringing prosperity to the Sarovian people. My first legislative goal will involve promoting new and existing business. Region-locking businesses and stunting their growth is an outrage. The freer the market, the freer the people. I will work on legislation that gives business the headroom to grow, rather than being gridlocked by Custovizo policy. I couldn't help but notice my opposition didn't actually say what he would do, but I will be in contact with existing businesses and entrepreneurs to decide which policies work best to help bring more money to hard-working Sarovians. Thank you.
This question is just for you, Mr. Braganza. Your caucus calls for the supremacy of the Commons in Sarovia's parliamentary arrangement. But every term, around 20 to 30% at least, do not finish their 3-month term. How do you prevent inactivity in the Commons if you wish for them to hold supremacy?
You are correct. Inactivity is a huge problem. Elected representatives have a duty, and that should never be forgotten. I think the most important step is to allow for resignations for those who cannot continue to deal with the workload. It's better that people have an eager representative than an inactive withdrawing their voice. I think MPs need to have more engagement with the electorate too. That way they will be constantly reminded of their sense of duty, not to mention strengthening our precious democracy. I know my father advocated for the same when he was an MP and a Lord. What's most important is that the democratically elected House retains its sovereignty.
We will be proceeding to the foreign affairs category. Mr. Braganza, to you first. The Liberals observe that growl seems to be a dying game and wishes to get a more physical presence in other games. However, there's yet to be a good replacement for growl. How would you begin this transition?
Well, my first suggestion is that we do not do one bulk transition. We keep setting up micro-communities in other games, but not forcing them back to growl. We must let them exist in their own space and build an autonomous community. I am also a firm believer in the potential of our colony on Boreas. For a start, Minecraft is widespread and accessible. We have had this figured for a long time. It has even more creative potential than Graal and is similarly good for role-playing. The trade opportunities are also fantastic because there are actual items in-game to buy and sell.
Sorry, I'm going to have to cut you off. On to you, Sir John. In recent months, Sarovia has had good success with sports and other cultural and civilian initiatives. How do you plan on getting other nations involved in Lochenne to submit players and teams to continue this trend?
Thank you, moderator. I'm happy to say we are already doing this. We initiated historic collaborations with the social event hosting organization known as the Player Events Community, recognized by the administration for its quality and consistency, as well as the Gralian Football League, the largest private sporting organization in the game. These collaborations have seen Lochenne audiences spike, social players becoming interested in Sarovia to a scale unseen in 7 years since 2018, and Sarovians also being exposed to new sports such as football. We will continue seeking new partners, but if Liberellizos were in charge, none of this would have happened. Thank you.
This is to both of you. Mr. Braganza, you may go first, and Sir John, you may go second. What should Sarovia be remembered for? The reach of its empire and influence, or for the quality of life and fun of its citizens?
I think to a certain extent the two are intertwined. The veterans in the room will have the great memories of the fun we had at historical events, and the newcomers have the privilege of seeing such a great and stable empire. I think fun should be what we are remembered for, because without fun, none of us would be here anymore to create modern history. Engagement is great, and the Liberellizos seek to expand that.
Sir John?
Thank you, moderator. The answer is simple, the latter. Quality of life and fun for our citizens. At the end of the day, that's what we're all going to remember when we move on from here, Stefan forbid. Exploring and colonizing new lands is certainly part of that fun, but when all is said and done, as Enocos said, fun is what brings us here, but let's be clear that the Liberellizos do not seek to expand that. We do because we understand that Sarovia, first and foremost, is a family. We all support each other and we always will.
We will be moving to the economy now as our primary topic. Sir John, you will go first. You argue for fiscal responsibility, yet a member of your caucus, Yamos Kane, spent $60,000 during his time as Prus's provincial leader on a sports team that is currently second last in the league and just forfeited their most recent game. How do you justify such fiscal mismanagement?
Thank you, moderator. Let me state first and foremost that Yamos is not part of my caucus. His irresponsibility, public immaturity, and other disgusting behaviors earned him a one-way ticket out the door. You know where he went immediately after? The Liberellizos, who smuggled him in quietly until public backlash forced them to remove him. The truth will always come out, ladies and gentlemen, because that's what Custovizos stand for, the truth.
Sir John, you personally promoted Yamos to become an officer and brought him to your caucus yourself. There exists proof of you praising his intelligence in the server. Why did you not stop the purchase?
It's true that I respected him once. Many of us did. He had a lot of potential, and it's a shame to see him waste it. He could have done great things with that team and that purchase, but he chose to squander it.
Mr. Braganza, you and your fellow Liberals have yet to release a comprehensive economics platform. What's your plan if elected?
You're right, we don't have one published yet. Our economic policy will be placed firmly with what our grassroots support expects. We don't believe in taxing our brave soldiers and hard workers into oblivion. As I stated before, a Liberellizo economy is upheld by free business. And if we must raise taxes, it is the rich and privileged who will pay, not the less fortunate. So the tax burden is not raised for those who are less fortunate. Thank you.
This is to both of you. Sir John, you may go first, and Mr. Braganza, you may go second. Both parties promised low taxes, yet Sarovia is expensive. Last budget, Sarovia was slated to spend more than it made for the first time in Sarovian history. Which will you cut to balance the books?
Let's get one thing straight first. Custovizos have been advocating for sensible taxation rates for a while now, specifically so that we can balance that budget, bring in more revenue, and pay for everything that makes Sarovia fun. Our events and institutions cost money to run. That's just practical economics. Liberellizos, meanwhile, would hand the economy to businesses and corporate overlords. We won't.
Mr. Braganza?
I wasn't around for the previous budget, to my great regret, so I haven't seen how bad the issue is, but what that does give me is a fresh perspective when we sit down and look at the next budget. Cutting spending is never an easy thing to pull off, and increasing it only raises the tax burden.
Thank you, Mr. Braganza. Your time is up. We are moving to the identity and heritage part of the debate now. First to you, Mr. Braganza. You and your caucus advocate for the strengthening of empire, but the activity in the dominions is currently subpar. Do you support disbanding them in favor of an imperial federation?
The bigger issue is we have selected the wrong games. West is also Graal, so suffers the same problems. In Roblox, we have a great setup, but are sidelined to a niche corner of the game. So in those cases, yes, I think it is more efficient to rule from our brilliant Sarovian parliament. That does not mean they can't become autonomous again if they see a significant revival. But for now, it is more practical to place them on life support.
Thank you. Sir John, you defend Sarovia's traditional values and military heritage. How do you respond to those that rightfully point out the game is declining and threatens those very values?
Thank you, moderator. The majority of the people here come from our military. The majority of the people at our events and games come from our military. Just earlier tonight, we had a battle that we won before this debate. There is one fundamental truth about the Sarovian people. We are warriors. That is why our caucus honors and protects that heritage, while Liberellizos spit on it. Thank you, Army Strong.
But with the declining Graal population, how do you replace retired veterans?
This is why we're making the partnerships that we are with social organizations. Liberellizos will say that we don't care about any of that, but really we just have our priorities straight and respect Sarovian culture. They would make Sarovia into a social guild. Custovizos, remember where we come from. Thank you.
No dual question for this category. We will move on to the final category, and then a final question for both. To you, Sir John, with the game removing our ability to exchange sorrows and gralats, what's your plan to keep money in Sarovians' pockets or increase the value of the sorrows they own?
The answer there is easy, and it's one we've already been doing. In the absence of gralats, we must make the sorrow mean more. During this term, the new Sorrowbot was released, designed to our demanding specifications so that our economy can function on our terms. The stores now have more items than ever, and our market is freer than ever, despite what Liberellizos would say, because that's all libs do. They lie, while Custovizos deliver for you. Thank you.
Final singular question, Mr. Braganza. Your opposition argue that Graal will always be the home of the Sarovian people. How do you plan to change that?
For now, make no mistake, Graal is Sarovia's home. We do not seek to change that until it is shut down. What we want to change is here because we always bring people back to Graal, which is inherently unfun to those who don't understand that.
Thank you both. We have our final question. Sir John, you may go first. This is it. If you lose this election, what is the single greatest danger Sarovia will face under the opposition's leadership?
The apple does not fall far from the tree, and under my opponent you can expect acute mismanagement. I, on the other hand, am one of the most experienced administrators and leaders in the empire. My experience speaks for itself. The soldiers know me. They know me. The people know me. Can my opponent say the same? I think not. Chaos and confusion, that's what the libs will bring to Sarovia.
And you, Mr. Braganza, your final answer?
Stagnation and complacency is what you can expect from the Custos. If you don't know me, I'll tell you about me. I have done what John has not. I work my way up after all the major changes. He haven't done that for at least 7 years. I've been a basic recruit like some of you, unlike him. I've been a fellow, not a superior. Vote for me, vote for understanding. I rest my case, my friends.
Thank you both. This concludes our general election leadership debate, and I hope all of you think very thoroughly on the responses delivered here tonight. Stefan, bless the Emperor, and good night.